And SCG asks, when it comes to the thought of playing new games on the Switch in portable mode versus old classics, which is a more appealing to you? For instance, with the upcoming Doom Eternal, do you find that's a game which you tend to want to play in portable mode or on the big screen? Before we kind of break it down, first question, which mode, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts, for a quick answer, which mode do you tend to use more, portable or TV, and why? Greg?
I'd say probably about 90% handheld, mainly for convenience, and that's like the TV is more often than not tied up in the living room. So it's my only real access.
Nick?
I'm probably 80% TV.
It used to be like 99%.
I used to be almost, I used to be 100 basically TV, but that's changed. I'll tell you why shortly.
I used to be 50-50, for various reasons. And I think with the way my work has changed, and I'm working evenings, so I get a lot of time during the morning to myself and the TV to myself. I do spend about 80% of my time on the TV now, I'd say. There are occasions, maybe just before bed, that I'll play certain games, and certain games, which we'll talk about later, do lend themselves to being in portable mode a little bit more easily than the TV mode.
To be fair, I'm sort of playing 0% in either mode at the moment.
Damn shame. So, what games, first of all, let's do handheld mode. What games do you feel you're more likely to play in handheld mode, or would like to play in handheld mode, even if you don't have the option to? Greg?
I think I'm a wee bit like Sam with like though like the NES and the SNES online apps, like those sort of like lend themselves perfectly to handheld mode, and we've never had N64 games on a handheld before, and if they came to the Switch, then I'd probably be playing quite a lot on handheld mode.
I have a few on Wii U, which the N64 games, they do look and run rather well on the gamepad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but that does partly tie into other aspect of the question, kind of, and like it sort of started with me actually back on the Wii U with like there's big games I would specifically just wait to get to the TV because I didn't want to play them on the gamepad because the resolution of the screen just obviously wasn't that great, and you kind of want them blown up and looking as best as they can be. It's maybe not so much of an issue on the Switch, but there is like something like Luigi's Mansion 3, for example. That's probably one of the reasons why I maybe haven't really tucked into it yet. It's like I kind of want to play that one on the TV.
You will do. You will do.
Yeah, I just haven't really been getting that opportunity.
Nick, what about you? Any specific games that you like to play in portable mode, handheld?
Basically anything. Again, SNES, NES, anything 2D and with retro style graphics. Like I've been playing Undertale before bed all week. I finished Mario Maker 2 last night in bed on the portable screen. Wargroove is another game. I haven't even played that on the TV yet, I don't think, because it just looks so good on the handheld screen. So those sorts of games, because obviously I never played handheld mode before, but that's because I was living in one room before with other people. Now I've got my own flat. I've got 2 rooms. My bed's in a separate room. So if I want to stay up late playing games, I can do it in bed, and that means handheld mode. And it was Link's Awakening that gave me that appreciation, that I started Link's Awakening playing it in bed, and that switched me onto the handheld mode a lot more. The only thing I really don't like about playing in handheld is the sticks. It's just not comfortable for me. So anything that really requires a lot of stick movement is something I'll probably save for the TV. Anything 3D, like Zelda, I've played that a bit. It looks nice in handheld, but it looks better on TV. Same with Odyssey. Luigi's Mansion I haven't tried in handheld mode, but again, I think it's, like you said, probably one that's for the TV. So yeah, basically 2D things, pixel art games.
Yeah, same here. Wargrove's a good one. Wargroove, for the single player campaign, I primarily play that in handheld. For the co-op one, though, I changed it over to the TV. So obviously we got real estate for both of us because we're playing co-op, local co-op. But what Wargroove does is that on the you can change it in the settings. But if you do play on the TV, the map zooms out. So you've got a bigger overlay of the map just because of the kind of real estate on the TV. And then when you go back into the handheld, just as you take it out of the dock, it automatically readjusts to a closer map. There is the option to change it to like a widescreen map, basically, on a zoom out a bit. But then the units get a little bit too small on the handheld. So you could flick between both of them, but Wargroove does play a good game on handheld. Old school games, I agree, like Mega Man. Mega Man's fantastic in handheld mode. But the one kind of game that I need on a TV that is old school, which you think would be good in handheld, is the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. Those games, because they're the arcade versions as well, they still look fantastic. The sprites are big, chunky. The animation is really nice on them. And those kind of side-scrolling beat-em-up games on the big screen looks really nice as well. Recently, I've been playing Pokemon Shield, mostly handheld. The old Doom games, like we mentioned in earlier, Doom 1, Doom 2. I don't know about Doom 3, but Doom 1 is fantastic in handheld. And the Telltale games, the Walking Dead, the Batman game I finished a couple of months back. Due to its touchscreen implementation, yes, but even if it didn't have touchscreen implementation, I think that kind of comic book style lends itself to the small screen better.
I'm trying to think. I think I may have played the entirety of Hollow Knight in handheld mode, because I remember, like, I think when we were discussing it, we all played it like last year or whatever, and I think somebody mentioned like the music was like really good or something. And when I'm playing in handheld mode, it's generally like in the living room and like my family's there and stuff as well. So the sound's generally like down quite low for me, so I maybe didn't really pick up on the music. But yeah, that was a good game to play in handheld mode.
Funnily enough, I played that on TV mode. So what about TV? Which games do you think lend themselves? Now, SCG has obviously said like the Doom Eternal, so that's a very modern-looking, good-looking first-person shooter, which for me does sit well on the TV. But what about you, Greg? TV games?
Well, on the Doom Eternal, I would say like the Doom 2016. It was quite blurry on the screen. Like it was, it got better over time, but it was definitely much more appealing to play on the TV. I generally prefer to play Mario Odyssey on the TV as well, but that was mostly because I was playing it with like the split Joy-Con, because you obviously using the motion and stuff. Breath of the Wild was one where I probably kind of split my time 50-50. I'm not really sure what I would play exclusively on the TV other than Luigi's Mansion. I'm trying to think of any like multiplayer games I would have played locally, whereas like obviously
you need the TV.
Playing on the TV, and this was Mario Party.
I've once a couple of times I played Mario Party with 4 players, hunched around the
tabletop mode.
Yeah, tabletop mode. Yeah.
And how was it? A Joy-Con each.
Aching back at the end of it.
I'll say like I don't have FIFA anymore because we all know it's rubbish. Like, but when I was playing like FIFA 19, it felt better on the TV. Obviously, like I was using exactly the same controls, like I was using like the Joy-Cons and the grip and stuff, but I don't know what it was about it. It just somehow it felt better to control or something. I'm not sure what that like sensation was, or if there was like minor differences somehow.
FIFA 20 can't handle the graphical fidelity. The Switch just can't handle it in handheld mode, maybe. Nick, how about you for TV games? Games that must be played on TV.
Anything that must be played with a Pro Controller.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Like, if a game feels awkward with the Joy-Cons, then I won't play it in handheld mode. I'll play it with a Pro Controller on TV. And sometimes, like, if it's a 2D game but it requires a lot of precision, then I'll probably play it as well on the TV rather than on the hand. Because that D-pad and the joystick on the Joy-Cons are not ideal for me personally. I prefer to have the thicker D-pad or the thicker sticks on the Pro Controller. But in general, yeah, just anything that feels better with a Pro Controller, which is, to be honest, most games for me, unfortunately. I'm not a big fan of the Joy-Cons. ARMS. There's a game where the Joy-Cons are fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely on the TV. I have tried that in tabletop mode, though.
I think I tried it once in tabletop mode as well. Yeah, you gotta have a high table to meet your eye line properly on it.
Mm-hmm.
Before ARMS came out, like I was certain I would be playing it with motion controls, and then whenever I got it, somehow the buttons just felt
really
much more natural to me. But yeah, on that subject of the controller there as well, I'm a big advocate of the Joy-Cons and stuff, but obviously I've said I'm maybe not playing the Switch as much recently, and I have been playing the Wii U quite a bit, and I've picked up a few of the Pro controllers.
A few of the Pro controllers?
Yeah, I've got 4 now, because I've been downloading a few N64 games and stuff as well. It's just like, I've got 4 Wii U Pro controllers now. It's like, do I need 4? But maybe someday. I don't know. But like I've been playing with that quite a bit recently, and like the buttons are maybe not entirely the ideal place, but the overall feel of the controller going back to hold like the Joy-Cons and the grip now, it does feel odd now, and it's like I don't want to have to buy Pro controllers for the
there's a 8-bit DO adapter, which is a Bluetooth adapter which plugs into the dock. Obviously it won't work to connect to the Switch manually, but I'm wondering if you could use that, because it's a USB, if you could get a USB-C adapter and plug it into the bottom of your Switch. There's a Bluetooth adapter which then you can use the Wii U Pro controllers on your Switch.
You can indeed, and I actually do have one, because I actually bought a Wii U Pro controller off Clownfair on the forum, and he sent me the 8-bit DO thing as well, because he wasn't going to use it. But I haven't tried it on the Switch yet.
It's because I've got 2 Wii U Pro controllers, and I'm thinking just pick up one of those and I'll be able to use them on the Switch as well. Get some use out of them.
Especially for the D-pad, which is way better than the Pro controller D-pad.
My only issue with that is with, like I said, like the buttons on the Wii U Pro controller. Like I've relatively small hands. Like I have like child-sized hands, pretty much. And so like the Y and B button are like further out of reach than I would ideally like.
It's a bit of a stretch. My docked games, first-person shooters, basically, those kind of modern first-person shooters, Doom and Wolfenstein Youngblood. I have played it in portable. It's not, none of these are exclusive, but even Hypercharge and Box, probably because I've been playing that a bit with my son, so we've been playing split screen. And Grid Autosport, that's got to be on the TV. So a beautiful looking game, and I need to see where I'm going in driving games. But even Mario Kart 8, yes, play it in handheld, but I prefer to play it on TV.
Yeah, so do I.
Overwatch, but that's a first-person shooter, and any kind of co-op, like you said, couch co-op kind of game. Death Road to Canada, wonderful as a not split screen, but sharing the screen on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, Mario Party, Human Fall Flat, which anything that splits the screen, of course. But even Unravel 2, because that's a beautiful looking game, and you're sharing the screen as well. Me and my son are playing together, and that was lovely and as a docked experience.
You know what? I would maybe say Splatoon 2 as well, actually, because when you're playing in handheld mode, like if you're using like the motion controls or whatever,
it's horrible.
Obviously, you're moving the screen about as well. I wouldn't say it's horrible. Like it works.
I'm
fine,
okay, yeah.
But
it's a lot of looking around. But
ideally, using the controller and the TV.
Yeah. What about a few games that you are happy to play in both and would equally play in both if you could? Are there any standouts? Greg?
I am generally happy enough to go between both, but I actually just thinking about Rocket League there, and just reminded myself that I think there is a tiny little bit of input delay on my TV, because I noticed that I can play it easier in handheld mode than when I go to the TV, and I think there is a slight wee delay there.
If there's a game you notice input delay in it, it's going to be Rocket League, definitely. Yeah. I never tried handheld mode in Rocket League ever.
Graphically, it
takes a hit.
It does take a hit. Yeah, you can see certain jaggy edges, but it still plays a fantastic game. Anything that stands out for you, Nick, as something that you could equally play and be happy to exchange between?
Well, Undertale is one this week that I've been going between, and both are perfectly good experiences. Hollow Knight, I didn't play that in handheld, but I think it would work in handheld. But I definitely would play that with headphones if I was playing it in.
Yeah.
Because it was me who told you that the soundtrack was amazing.
I just have to take your word for it.
I love that soundtrack. It is one of my favourite game soundtracks of the last decade. Fantastic. So, yeah. I don't know, I have a preference for obviously what I want to play on the TV, and then I have stuff that I don't mind playing on handheld. Not that I would specifically choose over the TV handheld, but there's stuff that I just won't play in handheld because of either the controls or because I need the big screen to see it. So there's nothing really that I would say I like to play in both, but if I'm planning on going to sleep in the next half an hour, there's plenty I'm happy to play, just before I go to sleep.
For myself, games that I dabbled in, like co-op games, and then I played as a single player, Enter the Gungeon. It suits both really, really well. Lego City Undercover. Those Lego games, especially City Undercover, they look wonderful on the big screen, and especially full HD and split, it does that dynamic split screen, doesn't it? When it drops in and out as you get close to each other. But it still looks fantastic in handheld mode as well. Retains all that kind of graphical detail and everything, especially in single player. Rocket League was another one of my examples. Wargroove was another one. Even Mario Maker 2 drop in between the kind of big screen when I want to play more levels. And if I was designing a level, I think I'd be happier doing it in handheld. There's only one other really, and it's Diablo 3. That's nice in handheld.
I haven't tried that in handheld actually yet.
It's just the same, it doesn't take away anything from the experience. Just to pop it out of the dock and carry on playing in handheld is a wonderful inclusion for most games. SEG said, though, he personally tends to save playing, like we've mentioned, newer games on the TV, but then if there were suddenly N64 games available on the Switch, he'd go for portable mode. So it's lending itself to that kind of old school games seem to sit better on portable rather than newer games which sit on the TV better. Anything to add before we finish, boys? No, then that's it.
We're done.
Bedtime.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.